Hello everyone, welcome back to another lecture. So this is a asynchronous meeting session that we have. Welcome back post after your post midterm examination of database, and it's been a long time. So let's get back to the profession again. Um, so far we have covered relational algebra examples using basic and derived operators. But there are still more examples which are required to understand more in this topic, and later on we will switch to domain relational calculus and tuple relational calculus, TRC and TRC. Okay, so let's take example. Let's continue with the previous examples that we were already doing. We have the student table in which we have SID, S name, and let's say age of the student. We have another table that is course, which generally stores the course information in this course table, where we have the course ID, course name, and the instructor of the course. We have a relational table which is called enroll, where SID and CID are the keys. In this SID, CID in together key is the key, and another descriptive attribute fee for your enroll table. The question is, we need to retrieve SIDs enrolled only course taught by, let's say, Koth or Navath, it can be any. Let's consider the Koth as the instructor. Right. So we are required to retrieve the SIDs of those students which are enrolled in the course taught by fourth year, right? The instructor. So basically, we need to retrieve SIDs here. So now see, we have the SID in student and enroll. The difference in this query is the presence of only, this word only. This is important here. Right. So what approach we will follow in this one here? So what we will do, basically, we will do the complement operator. We have already gone through this part whenever we have queries. For example, every query, right? We used to use complement, or say the set difference and the complement operators. Right. So something similar we will be doing here as well. What basically we will do is we will retrieve the SIDs of every student, those who are enrolled in some course, right? And then we will do the set difference operator with the SIDs of those who are not enrolled, or say who are not taught by the instructor course. If we will do the difference, we will get the SIDs of those students who are taught by the course instructor, right? So the query, the logic, something will be like this one. We need to find SIDs enrolled in some course. Fine, right? And then we will do the set difference operator with SID enrolled in some, we can say something like non-fourth course, or say the instructor. Something like this, right? So what actually we are doing here is, in this one, right? For this one, what should be the query here? We are simply going to project, right? But we are going to project SIDs. SIDs are present here and here, both. So this is important here to understand which SID we need to take. We are finding the SID of enrolled, SID those who are enrolled in some course. Probably in this table, SID is the key, but it may happen that there are certain students which are not enrolled in some course, right? Some means, as we have already covered this thing, the sum means at least one, right? At least one, or it can be more than one. Then we have some and many, difference between some and many. Many is for zero or more, right? In many, we can have the presence of zero. but in some there should be at least one. So that's why we will take SID from here, because in this one SID, every SID is at least enrolled in some CID, right? So we will project SIDs from enroll table. That's fine. Difference operator. Now this SID enrolled in some non-core courses. We have already covered this one in the previous lectures. For this, we already know how to handle such type of queries, right? So what should be here? We will simply select the enroll table, right? And we will perform a join, that's conditional join. We will select those rows here in which the course is stored by instructor. Okay, it's not the instructor. Instructor is not court, and probably it's the natural join here, right? So because this condition is on the selection operator, right? So we will fetch those rows here. We have already seen the selection operator works on rows, right? Or say the tuples technically, and then we will, whatever we will get from here, we will do the natural join with the enroll table, and after that we will simply going to project what SIDs. So here these are those SIDs which are, you know, the SID which are not under non-core, which are under non-core courses, right? For example, let's take some values here, and this is what the final query we have. Understand with the help of an example. Let's say in this course, let's say we have S1, C1, S1, C2, and let's say S1, C3, right? Then we can say S2, let's say C1, and some S3 as C5. These are what SIDs, and these are what CIDs for enroll table, right? And in the course we have CIDs. Let's say C1 enrolled in some port, C2 again it's stored by core, C3 by Navate, let's say, and C5 by Ullman. Let's say someone let's say Ullman. Okay, that's fine. Right, this is what for your course table, this is for your enroll table, this one here. So what should be the output for this part? We are going to perform the natural join in some common attribute. The common attribute is probably the CID here in between both those, right? So we are going to select those SIDs in which, after performing the natural join on the courses, row of those courses in which instructor is not caught, and that is what Navate and Ullman, right? So upon performing the natural join with this and these two rows, that is C3, we will join with C3, and then C5 with this one. So probably we are going to reflect what S1 from here, and C5, that is S3. So the output for this one here, this table is your S1 and what? S3. We are going to perform the set difference operator here, right? And in the set difference operator, what should be the values here? SID is enrolled in some course, right? So here, in this one, what should be the SID from here? S1, S2, S3. That is S1, S2, and S3. Why? Because every SID is enrolled in some course. This is what here, right? So what should be the answer for this one? That is A difference B. We have already seen elements which are in A but not in B, which are in this here but not here. And but what are those? S1 is here as well, so no S1. S2 is here but it's not here, that is S2. S3 is here as well here. So the answer is S2. You can check it out. In this one, we have to find if the SID is enrolled only course stored by the core. See, S2. S2 is the only SID in which the code stored by is the code here, that is C1. No other row, such row existing here. So in this way, this is our query for this one. So always remember, this word only is used in such, in this way. Probably we're going to understand or look another more complex example in which the term only at least are used, right? So with this one, we have understood whenever there is such type of query where we are asked to
retrieve something which are only taught by some attribute value or something like that, we have to use the set difference operator between different conditions here as per the norm. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Let's move on to some other more complex examples here. Let us take a table which is enroll. And in this table, we have the same previous example, SID, CIDs, and let's say some fee. Collectively is the key here, that is composite key, SID and CID, which uniquely identifies every attribute of enroll table. We are already familiar with this one. Right. The query is, understand, the query is we need to retrieve SIDs enrolled at least 2 courses. It should be here. Yeah. So we need to retrieve SIDs of those students probably who are enrolled in at least 2 courses. Right? So we are using the word at least here. Understand now. Let us take the example and let's understand with the help of taking example here. For example, let's take some values, SID and CIDs. Some S1, S1 with, let's say, take every course C1, C2, C3. With S2, let's take C1 and also S2, C2 and S3 with this. Let's say this is our the instance of your entity set and role here, something like this. So we need to find retrieve SIDs enrolled in at least 2 courses. Understand? Okay, by looking to this example, by looking to this table, what should be the answer? Right. We need to retrieve SIDs. Fine. Here we have the SIDs. At least 2 courses. Okay, look at S1. S1 is enrolled in C1 as well as C2 as well as C3. So, okay, that's fine. S1 should be there. Why? Because this S1 student is enrolled in 3 courses which satisfy the condition of at least 2. Moving on to the S2. S2 is enrolled in C1, S2 is enrolled in C2 as well. So at least 2 means 2 or more. So S2 is enrolled in 2. That's fine, S2. But looking at S3, we have the S3 is enrolled in exactly 1 course. So this row should not be included here. Right. Our output should be S1 and S2 only. Fine. So what should be the logic here? Okay. Understand the logic behind when we used to solve the conditions of at least statement here. What should be the logic here? I'm just writing the query here and we'll explain how we can do that. I will take the enroll table, that's fine. And I will perform a conditional join. Right. See, I need to retrieve, what should be the use? I mean, how many tables will be used here? I am asked to find the SIDs and CIDs. I mean, I have to do the comparison between SID and CID. Probably in the previous, this one, if I look here, SID is present here also and here also. But we are not dealing with any of the other attribute. So probably I need SID, CID, which is collectively I can get it here easily in the enroll table. So instead of using both, I'm going to use this enroll table to find SIDs corresponding to at least 2 courses. Right. So that's why we are using enroll table here. But again, if we are using a single table, right, and we are retrieving some values from the single table, we have to use rename operator, which is actually we have already covered so far in the previous lectures. Right. So what rename operator does is it copies the same instance of this entity set and then compares using the predicate conditions as well. Right. It means what we will be taking another SID and CID again with the same set of values, tuples here, something like this. Fine. right? So if you are using rename operator, that's fine. Enroll I have written, and I'm renaming the attribute. So some let's say SID is for S, CID for C, and for field let's say F something. Right. This is how we use the rename operator here. Right. Okay. What I will do is out of this. See, this is natural, but we need to have some condition here, right? What should be the condition to find at least two courses? Fine. What I will do is I will compare each and every row of this one with every other row, right? See, S1, I will compare S1 with every other row. S1, S1. At least two courses means, let's say S1 student should be enrolled in at least two courses, that is C1, C2, or even more than that. Looking at S1, S1 is enrolled in this one. S1, I will match SIDs and then I will check out whether CID should be different or not. Yes or no? So S1 I have matched, okay, fine. C1 is same. Okay, reject this one. Moving on to the next one. S1, S1, that's fine. C1 and C2, it means what? We have the same student enrolled in different courses. So I'm going to compare this with this one, and which actually will be satisfied because S1 with two different courses. I will move to the next one. I will find out that okay, C1 is even not equal to C3, so that means three courses I have there. In this way, so what actually I'm doing is from enroll table, I am doing SID equals to what? Let's say S1 here. This is S, right? Because rename operator. And what other condition? This CID should be different, obviously. Only then we will be able to identify the different courses here. So that is what CID should not be equal to what? C here. Understood. And then whatever I will get from here, I'm going to simply project SIDs from enroll. This is the way how we used to write the condition when we have the at least operator. Right. This is completely, the part of your predicate calculus, which comes under your discrete mathematics using your first order logics. Let us understand in more in depth about this thing, right? Because we will see about exactly one courses, exactly two courses, at least two courses, or say at least three courses, at least one course, every condition we're gonna see here. But to understand in depth in a better way, let's go back to your discrete mathematics part here. Because remember, understand the query part. Whenever we are talking about the structure query, SQL here, it is very important to know the concept of three things. Understand? These three things plays a very important role, and the queries are anyhow. Queries are nothing. When you have the syntax, plus you already know syntax, it's quite easy to understand the syntax of any language, programming language. But it's very important to understand the logic behind your programming language. And as a part of your SQL structure query language, we have three different things that you need to be, good in understanding, visualizing those things here. As a part of query, understand, in the query, you should have the knowledge of set theory. Right, when I talk about the set theory, what are those? You have the operators like union, set difference, intersection, set difference, intersection, all those operators, right? We have already covered in basic operators part of your relational algebra. So that information, that knowledge of set theory is must here. It's probably the Cartesian product plays a very important role. Okay, fine. Yeah. So in the query part, the important is one of the important part is your set theory, which is must. The other thing is, along with set theory, you should have the knowledge of first order logic, FOL. That is first order logic. Right. And in this first order logic, probably if you are familiar with the quantifiers that is there existent for all those things, right? For there exists some x for all y or something, right? So that's for first order logic, forming the statements here using some logic formation. And with this one, you should have the knowledge of some predicate calculus. How statement formation are there in the logical way. That is your predicate calculus. Right. So if you have the knowledge of these three things, right, queries are nothing. It's a very easy part because these things are generally used for visualizing your database table. If you want to retrieve some values from the database table, anyhow you will be using these three things here. And if you know these three things, query are the very easy part here. Like if someone knows the set theory concept and someone don't know the first order logic, right? So definitely he or she will not be able to perform the queries properly. It is must that these three the knowledge of these three topics should be there properly, right? Okay. Coming back to the example here, let's try to understand mathematically how we are using this concept here, right? At least and every other concept that we'll be going to understand so far in the next upcoming topics, right? Let's see the logic part here. Okay. Let us take, let's say C of x. I'm just writing a function C of x in which x is a student in a class, right? X is a student in a class. Now, S of x is another function in which it states that X student studies, let's say some subject which is, let's say, consider mathematics, let's say math. So it means what? X is a student in a class which is represented with C of x, and S of x is a student or say studies maths here, right? So if I'm writing the query here, something like that, some student in class studied maths. So how I will write this query, this statement in a mathematical logical way with the help of this. So here some student, I mean there exists some student in the class who is studying mathematics here, right? So see, there exists some x. There exists some x who is a student. Fine, who is a student? And this is the conjunctive form and the student studied mathematics here. This is what the sentence formulation of your using predicate logic, using first order logic and predicate calculus. This is how we form the sentence here. So for some student in a class studied math, we have there exists some student who is a student and there exists some x who is a student and studied mathematics here. Other query is we need to find out at least two students, which is our something question that we have covered. At least two students in class studied math. This. So how we will write this statement here? We need to retrieve at least two students, right? So understand. For this, what is the requirement? We should have two different students who are in the same subject, which is math here, right? Let us take this is one table. Let's take this is one table, or you can say an object in which I have, let's say, A, B, C, D, something like this object, right? So X is an object here in which we have the values A, B, C, D, right? So this is what I'm writing some X, right? Some X may be the student, some X student is in the class, right? And studies maths. Understand? So there is some student X in this one here who is in the class and studying math. For example, I'm taking, let's say, A. A is the student who is in the class, right? And studied math here. Now, let me take another table, another object, which is same as X that we have, A, B, C, D. Here, I'm writing this as an object with the name Y. And what I will say here is some Y. There is some Y which is the student in the class studied maths. Right. So out of these, let's say I'm taking C. See some student in the class studied math. So for condition of at least 2, what should be there? What should be the relation between this X and this Y? Isn't it this X and this Y should not be same? That is X not equal to Y. If X is equal to Y, this means A and A here. X not equal to Y means there is some student here in this X object and there is some student Y which is not same as X. This is what two different students which is X not equal to Y and these are both students which are in the class and studying math. Yes or no? So with this we can formulate our condition here. How we will write logically here? See, there exists some X, also there exists some Y, right? Such that X is a student and this X student studied maths, right? Okay, this is one formulation. Again, and there is some student Y who study math, that is S of Y. So this is my second condition. But along with this one, I should have a third condition that says this X and Y are two different, not same. This is what X not equals to Y. And this is my formulation. Yes or no? So this is how we formulate the condition of at least 2. Right. See, understand this is what the difference here. We are taking object here. In the object, we are taking the values per se, and we are just simply saying that objects, the values in the objects are different. Probably it means that we have two different values we are comparing in this one. Right. So this is what the difference we generally use to see in algebra. Right. In algebra, we have the object. Then we have the operator, the help of operator like this AND operators and other operators as well, not equal to operator. We formulate the condition. But remember in calculus, when we go to the DRC and TRC, the calculus part, we will having the statement only. We are not dealing with object or other operators there. Probably after this one, we will see that DRC and TRC. Right? So this is how we form the formulation for your logic here. Understand this was the condition for at least 2 now. If I say for at least 3, right? Something like this one. Let's take another example in which we have to retrieve the SIDs enrolled in at least 3 courses. In at least 3 courses. So what we will do now? Definitely we are having enroll table, right? So we have to use this enroll table 3 times. That obviously, right? Because we need to compare three tables and we have to formulate. So expanding this condition here, let's try to find out. Okay, let's say I'm having the table enroll and I'm renaming it to, let's say, table T1. In the same way, I will be having the enroll table as T2, and in the same way, it's let's say T3. Understand now what I will do? I will select those rows from T1 cross T2 and cross T3. Which rows I will select here? In which? T1. From T1 table, see, I'm just writing this condition here. This one, expanding to 3 tables now. Right. In this one, T1.SID, obviously it should be equal to T2.SID. Yes or no? Right? Because here SID should be same for both the tables. Since we have 3 tables, T1, T2, and T3, so what other condition will be using? And T2.SID, it should be equal to T3.SID as well. Yes or no? Right? Because if we have 3 different tables, then we will be comparing with 3 different tables. For every SID should be same. Along with this one, the other attribute, let's say CID as we are containing, T1.CID, it should not be equal to T2.CID. Cos ID. Yes or no? Because see here, this course ID should be different here, right? But it's not the sufficient condition. Again, T2.CID, it should not be equal to T3.CID, right? But again, I need to write one more condition here, right? We'll understand which, and what's that? T1.CID should not be equal to T3.CID. Understand, right? Why I'm saying this one? Probably you can now, you should be able to visualize now, right? In this one, with these three conditions, let's say we are just taking, let's say, S1 ID is here in T1, right? And S1 ID is here as well, and S1, right? The courses should be different from each other, right? So T1 course should be different from this one, course of T2 table, right? If C1 is here, it should have C2 here, something different, right? But here in this one, in this T3, this is for T1, this is for T2, this is for T3. It should not be same as both T1 and T2, right? Here T1.CID not equals to T2.CID, that's fine. This one not equals to this one. T2.CID should not be equal to T3.CID. If I write here C1, T2.CID is not equal to T3.CID, but T1.CID is equal to T3.CID. That should not be there. So for that purpose, we have written this condition as well. So it should be probably not C1 and C2. It can be other than that, that is C3. Right. So every CID we have, see, for S1 we have 3 different courses. So that is what, at least 3 courses condition. Fine. So hopefully, I hope you have understood this part so far, right? So this is how we have the condition for logic here, the predicate logic here, right? Okay. Let's move on to next, another subtopic here. Let me take that is this one. The question is, SID, example, other is SIDs enrolled in only one course. Only one course. Right. So how we will perform this one here? Understand. What actually we will do here is, I'm just writing the logic here first. We will find out SIDs enrolled in at least one course. Whatever values we will find out here, SIDs enrolled in at least one course, we will do the set difference operator with SIDs enrolled in at least 2 courses. So the difference, whatever difference and result of this we will find will be only, or say only one course, say exactly one course is here. Right? How? Understand. Let's continue the same example. Understand the logic here, right? Let's say C of X, the same logic, right? I mean the same condition. C of X is the, X a student in a class, right? And S of X is what? X studied maths, right? So what I have to find out here is only one student in class studied math. Same, right? So we should find out the only one student who studied maths here, right? So what actually we will do here is, first we will find out at least one student in a class studied math, right? So at least one student in class studied math. So how we can find out? What should be the query for this one? We have already seen the previous, right? Let's say there exists some student, there exists some X who is a student and studied maths. This is what the logic for at least one. And we have seen for at least two as well, right? So understand there should be, okay, what should be the logic? How will form that? There should be at least one student in class studied math, but not at least two students in the class studied maths, but not at least two students in class studied math. Probably you might find it difficult, right? We'll understand with the help of an example, don't worry, right? But before that, let's right, we are familiar with this one, right? So all in a one, how we can write the logic here for only one student? That's what, there exists x, right? This is what, who is a student of a class and studied math. That's it, right? And see, but not, and it's not the single. This is the negation operator. If you remember in discrete mathematics logic, how we use like this one, negation. There exists some x and there exists some y who are the student studied maths, right? That is c of y and s of y, and x is not equals to y. This one, right? So this is what the query will be for this one here, right? So I hope you have understood. If not, okay, let's try to find out and visualize with the help of example here. Okay, yeah, this is what our example values that we have taken so far, right? Just trying to validate. Let's validate whether this logic is correct or not, right? First, let's find out SIDs enrolled in at least one course, right? So we have the query for this one here so far, at least one course. What should be that? We need to retrieve, right? We need to retrieve SIDs. This one. We need to retrieve SIDs from enroll table. Yes or no? Why? Because it should be there at least, right? Enroll table we have taken. Now we will do the set difference of SIDs enrolling at least two courses. Again, we have already know this one. And what should be the query for this one? Which is enroll doing natural join with rename operator of enroll, naming by SCF, where SID is equals to S and the condition with CID is not equal to C. And out of this, we will project SIDs. Right. By looking at this example, let's validate now. What should be the resultant of this query? What should be the result of this query? SIDs enrolled in only one course. Okay, see here. We need to identify SIDs enrolled in one course. S1 is enrolled in C1, but S1 is enrolled in C2. So S1 should not be there. S2 is enrolled in C1, S2 is also enrolled in C2. So S2 should also be not there. In the result, S3 is enrolled in C1. So in the result, only S3 should be there. Yes or no? So let's try to find out and see here. As I'm saying here, SIDs enrolled in at least one course. The query is we need to project SID. We need to project SID from enroll. And we have seen the projection works on attribute here by selection work on tuples, and projection gives the unique or say the distinct values. Right. So SIDs, what are the possible SIDs that we have here? S1, S2, and S3. Right. So here, for this one, our resultant values will be S1, S2, S3. Difference operator, fine. Now see, SIDs enrolled at least two courses. Right. See here. We have seen SIDs enrolled in at least two courses. So probably we have already calculated this, right? And what should be the answer? S1 and S2. Yes or no? So S1 and S2. So what should be the result of this one? A difference B, element of A which are present here but not here. That is S3. And this is what the result that we have calculated here. S3 should be there, which is enrolled in only one course. Hence, it validates that query is this one, and the logic followed is this one here. Right? We need to find at least one course and difference with at least two courses. We will find only one course here. Right? So I hope you have understood. If you haven't understood still yet, probably you can rewind the video and you can just clarify. Make sure you should have understood this one. Still you haven't understood, you can just ask the way you want to. Right? Okay. So we have seen only condition here when we have the only. But now let's say, okay. Further, if I extend this same example here, and I ask you to find the SIDs enrolled in only, instead of one, let's say only two courses. SIDs enrolled in only two courses. I hope you should be able to at least have idea in your mind at this point of time. Right? Yeah, exactly. So what we will do is we will find out SIDs enrolled in at least two courses. Yes or no? And whatever query we will find out, we will do the set difference operator with SIDs enrolled in at least what? Three courses. Yes or no? Okay, let's validate this logic here. See, I hope you can write this one here, this condition. You can write at least three courses. Right? The logic here we have seen for at least two courses. This one. Right? We will find out another object. Let's say there exists Z as well, and in which X not equals to Y, not equals to Z. That will be for you at least three. Right? That you can easily do. Okay, but now let's try out. SID is enrolled in at least two courses. Right? So definitely we will find out the SIDs from but enroll table. Yes or no? So from enroll, if you find out the SIDs, what will be the values? S1, S2, S3. So far, difference. SID is enrolled in at least three courses. Okay, see here. In this one, how we'll find in at least three courses? See, S1, again we will compare, right? The same condition. S1, C1. Okay, S1 is in C2 and S1 is in C3 as well, right? So we can say that S1 is the one which is enrolled in at least three courses, right? Okay, that's fine, S1. Now see, S2, is the S2 enrolled in at least three courses? No, S2 is enrolled in C1 and C2, but not C2. And S3 is again enrolled in only one course. Right, so the answer is S1 only. So when we will do the set difference, what answer we will get? That is S2 and S3. Right, okay, hold on. SID is enrolled in at least two courses. Here S3 will not be there. Right, mistake, because see, at least two courses means S3 is enrolled in only C1, that is only one course. So for those at least condition, we are going to satisfy only S1 and S2. So when you will do the set difference operator, you are not going to have this one. So the result will only S2 here. And you can see only two courses here. S2 is the one which is enrolled in C1 and C2. Only two courses. Right? Hence it validates the logic here. Right? So in this way you can frame the rest as well. I hope this is now easy for you to understand, right? Okay, let's cover one more condition, one more example, right? Which is what? At most, right? SID is, understand, SID is enrolled in at most one course. And probably you can extend to one at most 2 or 3 courses as well. Right. So we need to retrieve SIDs enrolled in at most one course. Right. So okay. Before starting this one, let's try to understand the logic first. right? The predicate logic. What should be the logic here, right? We need to understand, continuing the previous example, we need to find at most one student, in class studied math. Yes or
Yes or
no?
no?
Right. So what we will do here is, let's say we will find out X is a student, right? X is a student in the class. That's it. X is a student in the class. See,
See,
understand
understand
why I'm just saying X is a student in the class here, right? Because this student, if in the class, this student may or may not have the course studying the math, may or may not study math. See, this is important. Understand. X is a student. X is a student studied in the class. I'm saying at most one student. At most means what? At most means what? It can be zero as well as it can be one, up to one. Yes or no? That's why at most. And if I'm saying X is a student in a class who is may or may not study maths, right? So what we are talking, in which table we are talking about here, out of what we are having in this one. See, SID is present in student as well as in enroll. So far we were taking enroll table, but now we will take this from student. Right? Why? Because in student, the student may or may not be enrolled in some course. Or let's say, if you are talking about this example, the student may be studying maths or may not be studying. Right? That's what the only the details of the student, the table we are talking about. If you take this one, every student must be at least enrolled in some, let's say, subject maths, studying maths. Right? So that's why the condition of at least is satisfied here, but not here. Right. So now we will take the student which is of a class. Student is of a class. That's it. But now this student should not be at least two student. Understand? At least two student in class studied math. Let's validate and understand. See. Yeah. So X is a student in a class who is may or may not be studying math, but not at least two students in a class studying math. So what should be the logic here? There exists X, which is a student. That's it. Yes or no? So X is a student in a class. That is this one. Now, and this, but not, and not. The symbol and not at least two students in a class studying math. This we have already seen so far. There exist X and Y, such that C of X and S of X and C of Y and S of Y and X not equals to Y. This, right. So this is the logic here. Right. So okay, going back to the same the example here. SID is enrolled in at most one course. So what we will do here? We will find out. We will simply find out the SIDs. Understand this one here, right? I'm talking about this condition. SIDs of all students. Right, that's it. SIDs of all students who may or may not enrolled in course. Yes or no? Enrolled in course. And of which table I'm talking about here? I'm talking about the table of student, that is student. And I'm gonna project what SIDs. I'm talking about this value here, right? This one, as I just told you, this table. So we will do the set difference operator of SIDs where at least two students in a class studying math. So we have already seen the query for this one. And this is what SIDs enrolled in at least two courses. Right. So we will do the set difference here. And then again, the query we already know, enroll, do the natural conditional join by renaming the table with, let's say, SCF, such that SIDs are same and CIDs are different because we need to find at least two courses, and simply we are going to project what SIDs here, right? Okay, now let's check it out. Let's validate whether this logic works fine or not. See the values here. We need to find SIDs of the student, right? So SIDs of the student probably in this one. So we're gonna list everyone, right? SIDs of everyone. For example, in this question, so far we have no such values here. So our queries result here in this case will be S1, S2, since we have unique values here, right? Being the set difference of SIDs enrolled in at least two courses, right? So we have already seen the SIDs enrolled in at least two courses. Then the result is S1, S2. That is S1, S2. So what should be the answer for this one? A difference B, which are in here but not here, which is only S3 actually. So validate now. S3 is the only student who is enrolled in at most, or say where we have this at most one course, this one, right? So I see, check it out. S3, S1 is there, which is enrolled in three courses. S2 is enrolled in two courses, but S3 is the one only enrolled in at most one, that is exactly one course. So that's why we have the S3 here, right? So I hope you have understood something, you have an idea so far in this one how we formulate the logic here. That is your first order predicate clause, right? Let me give you another example so that you have a better idea on how we solve this type of queries. Okay, let's take the employee example table, right? I'm just writing EID, I'm just taking some random values. EID is e-name, and let's say department number. And EID is the key here. Fine, we need to retrieve, I'm just asking you to retrieve department number in this case now. So far, not EID, department number with only one employee. Department number with, we need to retrieve the department number which are having only one employee. So what you will do? Only one, right? So you should be able to answer, write the query for this one now. Probably you can pause and you can just try by your own, and let's see if you are able to answer for this one, right? Okay. Okay, let's check it out. See, this is something similar with this one. SID is enrolled in only one course, right? So what basically here we will write here, we will find first the department number. How many department numbers are here? Because see, we need to retrieve department number. So definitely we will find out department number first from here, right? Now we will do the set difference, and see, in the only case we will do SID. Here SID enrolled at least two courses. So what here we will write is, in this case, what we will write? We will write the department number with at least one employee. This is what, but not at least two employees. There should be at least two employees, right? And what should be that? Okay, let's say employee table we have performing join. Let's say EMP. I'm writing the attribute name as E for an IID name, and for name, and department number D. Understand what should be the predicate condition here for this conditional join? We are, what we are saying is not, but not at least two employee, right? That is what, only one employee, then we will find out, right? So here department number should be same, but employee should be different, that is at least two employee. So how we will do that? EID should not be equals to E, right? EID should not be equals to E, and out of this one we will project department numbers here, right? So in this way we used to find out the query for this one here, right? you can verify this validate by taking some example, right? For example, if I'm taking, let's say, some value, let's say even since eid is primary key here, I cannot take multiple same values, right? So e3 for, let's say, e5, e name, let's say a b some c and c, fine. Department number, let's say d3 d2, again d3 d4, and let's say more d2, that's fine, right? So see, we will retrieve say department number of employee taken, right? So department number, right? Department numbers are this one. So what should be the department number? D3. See, unique, right? So other is D2, but other D4, fine. Set difference, okay. Now with what should be the condition here? We have seen, but not at least two employee, but not at least two employee. We need to retrieve the department number of those, right? So what should be here? See, let's check it out for d3, right? You need to take another same table, follow the same procedure that we have followed. We will see that d3 is the one in which we are having at least two employee, right? At least two employee. So because in d3 we have e1 and in d3 we have e3, right? So d3, fine. Now see d2. D2 is again having at least two employee, because in D2 department we have E2 employee and D2 department we have E5 employee. So here D2. In D3 we have only one employee, E3, right? And even in D4, okay, sorry, not in D3, D4. In D4 we have exactly one employee, so it should not be here. And what should be the answer? D3 D2 D4 D3 D2, that is D4. So D4 is the employee department number in which we have only one employee, right? Check it out. D4. D4 is the only one in which we have only one employee, and which is D4. Right? In this way you can identify. And okay, I'm just leaving on you. Let's all of you can try. You need to retrieve the department number with at least two employee. Just try by your own. You should be able to write the query for this one very easily. You need to retrieve the department number with at least two employees. This is what actually it's written here, right? So okay, this is actually written here. You can try for let's say with only two employee, with only, not at least, say only. Retrieve department number with only two employees, right? Try out for this one and just let me know if you face any issue in this. So with this one we have covered our relational algebra part successfully, right? So this topic of at least, only, at most, only, at least two, at least three, this is more or less, mathematical part, right? It's complete mathematical that include the use of your first order predicate and set difference, set theory, right? Okay, understand about this one, but only I have used this one, but not, sorry, not but, right? Understand this thing, but not operator is actually what, this one, negation operator here in set theory, right? In algebra, understand, in algebra, but not is actually, in algebra if you talk about, and but not is simply what, set difference operator in algebra. But when we talk about the calculus, in calculus, but not condition is something like this one. If I'm saying this condition, let's assume that this is what P statement, and let's say this is what my Q statement, right? In calculus, how we will write P and not Q. This is how we write, right? In algebra, but not is simply a difference operator. When you talk about the calculus, the condition you have to write in this way, right? So okay, fine, hopefully you have understood. If you didn't understood, it is generally a bit hard to digest. There's discrete mathematics topics, right? But anyhow, if you really want to hence your SQL part, you will not face any issue. This is the mathematical part. You should be very familiar with the three topics that I have just told you, including set theory, the predicate calculus, and your first order logics, right? So, okay, that's it for today's session. And after this one, we will continue to our domain relational calculus, that is DRC, and tuple relational calculus, TRC. If you face any issue in one time while looking at the video, probably you go back and you again watch the video, understand the concept. But make sure you should have understood this one, because in the sequel, when we'll go to the formal query language, we'll write the structure query language, these things, if you have clear in your concept, will help you a lot to write the queries in a very easy and efficient way, right? Okay. See you all in the next class.